all you slashaholics. Welcome back to the Slash Sisters channel. Horror movie reviews by horror movie fans, but also all things spooky.
Yeah, we try. And I'm Slash Sister Hallie. That's Slash Sister Jen, because she forgot to say who the hell she was.
I did.
And we are your dark guides through this twisted depths of horror.
Ooh. Make sure to
horror, not horrors. There is a difference. Mostly.
You said horror and horrors, and then
horrors.
There's a
horrors.
Yeah, there we go. There it was. That was the right one. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you join the fun little slashaholic family that we have here, full of slash holes and slashaholics and slash whatever you want to be.
Right. Today we are venturing into the post-apocalyptic terror of 28 weeks later, a nightmare that lingers long after the credits roll.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So make sure you lock those doors, turn off the lights, because watching this in the dark is definitely way more fun, and prepare your nerves, because once we start, there is no turning back.
Are you ready to face the horror? Let's dive in.
During the initial outbreak of the rage virus,
I wish there was a better name for this.
I know.
Like, something like more medically sounding. But no, it's just rage virus.
Yeah.
You're in luck. Drinkable.
Yeah, and they don't call it anything else.
Nope.
Alice and her husband Don and 4 other survivors hide in a cottage on the outskirts of London. I think this is supposed to take place within the first week or so of the outbreak, from what I read and understand.
With the way they were running out of food, I think it was
maybe
a little bit further.
Maybe a little
into
bit.
it.
Oh wait, I think maybe it was that I've read that it's a week after where the first movie starts.
Okay.
So, anyways, so they are on the outskirts of London in a cottage, and they hear a boy pounding on the door, terrified, screaming to let him in.
Don, it's a kid!
Minutes later, the infected people who have followed him all the way from Sanford, which, by the way, is actually a fictional town.
Oh, really?
It is a fictional town that the UK police use for training exercises. It's also a call back to and reference to Hot Fuzz.
Ah!
Because Hot Fuzz takes place in the fictional town of Sanford.
I love that movie so much.
But yes, they have followed him and they break into the said cottage.
Sam.
Don pleads with Alice to leave the boy, but she refuses, so he escapes on a boat and leaves his fucking wife behind, assuming that she died.
Yeah. And everybody else, too, but
more
more importantly, his wife. Everybody else is basically dead,
right.
Pretty much turned.
It is kind of important to note that his wife does have a genetic mutation.
Yeah, we don't find that out until later.
No.
But
You can see it.
She does. Yeah,
you can
she has
see it because she's got 2 different colored irises.
Yep.
Don! Help us!
Which is technically a genetic mutation. That will come into play later.
After the infected die of starvation, NATO forces take control of Great Britain and begin rebuilding the country. 28 weeks after the outbreak, hence the name of the movie, the U.S. military, under the command of Brigadier General Stone, brings in settlers and refugees. And Brigadier General Stone is played by none other than beautiful, amazing, talented Idris Elba, which is really funny because
he's British.
He's British, playing an American in a British film. Make it make sense.
I can't.
Anyways.
Well, it's like, this is completely off topic, but Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I'm not familiar.
Okay. Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a remake of a 60s TV show done by Guy Ritchie. Starred Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer.
Okay.
Henry Cavill was playing a American agent, and Armie Hammer was playing a Russian agent.
Silly.
Anyway,
but, do they nail the accents though?
I
think Idris Elba has had plenty of practice at the American accent.
He
really quite a bit.
He really has.
In his career, so he pulls it off well.
No. Among the new arrivals into London are Dawn and Alice's children, Tammy and Andy, who now officially are become the youngest people on the island of the UK.
Yeah. In fact, they one of the doctors freaks the fuck out about it.
No one told me that we're now admitting children.
Yeah, because she wasn't informed of it because there's no protocols for children on the island yet.
Right.
But they were out of the country in Spain. Actually, the T-shirt that Andy's wearing is like the Spain soccer team.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how you know he was in Spain. Or
Yeah.
I think they might actually say it later. They are admitted to District 1, a heavily guarded safe zone on the Isle of Dogs. Not the movie, the actual Isle of Dogs.
The Wes Anderson film. It's a great movie.
Where they are reunited with their father, who lies about the circumstances of their mother's presumed death.
Yeah, basically he says that he saw her get bitten, which actually could be true.
He didn't.
He didn't, though. No, he did
Because
not.
he was in the boat and, 50 yards away at least.
Yeah, he could see her in the window screaming as the infected were grabbing her. Sergeant Doyle, a Delta Force sniper, is among the soldiers guarding District 1.
And he is wondering where the combat is.
Yeah.
He's also played by Hawkeye himself, Jeremy fucking Renner.
Yep. In one of his earlier roles, I would say. I mean, 2007, he
it was pre-MCU for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And Tammy and Andy sneak out of the safe zone to return to their home in hopes of recovering a photograph of Alice, because they don't have any.
Yeah.
Among other belongings. Inside, they discover that Alice is alive and in a delirious state, just as soldiers alerted by Flynn, a helicopter pilot, reach them and return them to District 1.
Yeah. But Mom is not dead, and the kids are none too happy about their dad having lied to them. Alice is quarantined and tested by Scarlett, a U.S. Army military officer.
She's the one that was upset about the kids coming to the island.
Right, and she's played by Rose Byrne, who we've seen her before on our channel in Insidious. But also, she's a fantastic actress. Anyways, she is tested by Scarlett and found to be an...
There's no question, sir. She has the virus. She's infected.
asymptomatic carrier of the rage virus, which means that she has the virus,
but
she was actually bitten by the infected.
But she's not she's not infected.
Yeah, she is not herself infected.
No.
She's obviously in a state, but she knows what's going on.
Yeah, she's coherent. She's lucid and talkative.
Obviously, traumatized.
Oh yeah,
and wouldn't you be? I mean, everybody there's traumatized.
I mean, it's been half a year.
Yeah.
She was on her own, starving with no food.
Yeah. No thanks. Don makes an unauthorized visit to Alice because he's got top security clearance now that he's some bigwig on the island, and he goes in and begs for her to forgive him.
I'm so sorry. I'm scared. I shouldn't have really.
And then he makes the stupid mistake of kissing her, and it's fucking sloppy and gross too. It's like, anyway, Don gets, but I think it just gets sloppy because he immediately becomes infected.
Well, so in this universe, in the 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years universe,
coming soon.
today, it's instantaneous.
Yeah. I mean, within seconds. At least, you see, in the first one,
Brendan Gleeson got a little drop of dead man's blood in his eye and immediately fucking turned.
Yep.
If you notice, during this sequence, it's the same musical score as when Brendan Gleeson got infected in the first one.
There's a lot of musical callbacks.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I love that they use that same theme throughout the entire film,
what's
too.
the name of that song? I don't know. I used to play it all the time. It's a very epic song.
It's epic, and it fuels the adrenaline and rage and everything.
For sure. So of course he immediately turns and then immediately kills his wife.
Gouges out her eyes.
Yes.
Everything's fine. Don't worry. I'll be back in a moment.
Scarlett rescues Tammy and Andy from an isolation room because after Dawn became infected, they immediately locked everything down. Or tried to. I'll give them credit for trying.
As we see, we wouldn't have a movie if we weren't letting the infected out.
Theorizing that they might have inherited a genetic immunity to the virus that could lead to a cure. It's also important to point out that Andy does have the same genetic mutation as his mother.
Yeah, it's called heterochromia, I think.
I think that's the name of it, yes. Thank you.
Two different color dyes.
Yep.
Anyways, Dawn has instigated a domino effect of rapid infections, killing numerous... What?
Dominoes.
Oh, I was like, what did I miss? I thought you were, like, pointing at a bug or something. I was like, what? I don't...
This is what happens when you record in the basement.
I don't catch things sometimes.
Above the head, below the knees.
Anyways, he kills a bunch of refugees, a bunch of military personnel.
Yeah, he does.
Unable to contain the chaos, Stone
Shoot everything. Targets are now free. We've lost control.
eventually just orders for everyone to be shot indiscriminately.
He initially orders just the infected to be shot.
Right.
But
then
once
at
they
some
get
point,
to a certain point, he's like, fuck it, kill everyone.
Yep. Which, I mean, if you've read the Zombie Survival Guide, you know that at some point you have to just...
Honestly,
cut the
if there
head
were
off.
ever a true zombie outbreak, it would have to be something like this, where it's like instantaneous turning, not the slow, like, oh, it can take like a couple days, like
Right.
Walking Dead turn
Right,
or all
right.
anything. It would have to be something like this, where mass pandemonium would break out from
Like World
quickly
War Z,
infected.
what,
Right,
like
right.
this, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Rooftop units, target everyone at ground level. No exceptions. Repeat, no exceptions.
Doyle refuses to comply with orders because he sees Andy and just cannot bring himself to shoot a child. Just can't.
And shoots an infected that is running at him instead, actually.
Right.
So,
But he also leaves his post
Why aren't you at your post?
Why aren't you?
to assist a small group of fleeing survivors. A panicked Delta Force sniper kills two of the group, but Doyle returns fire and kills him, leaving himself, Scarlett, Tammy, Andy, and one other survivor, Sam, who is very panicked.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how I would react in this situation.
I would tend to listen to the Delta Force guy and not argue with him.
Yes,
though.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
I could see that you could see that he was in uniform.
Yeah.
Scarlett was at least half in uniform. She
Yeah.
had on military pants.
And-
She had on a hoodie on
Yeah,
top
yeah, yeah.
or whatever. But they're military.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking listen to the
They're
military.
in charge. Or at least
Supposed
in
to
this
be.
situation.
Supposed to be at this point, right?
The group reaches the edge of District 1, and as the Air Force firebombs the
The aircraft, they just got their orders. They're firebombing all of District 1.
entire war zone,
Oh, yeah.
the entire zone, all of District 1, Dawn survives and follows them into an abandoned London as they're trying
Not
to make
just
their way through
does
London.
he survive, but he actually leads a group of infected into the abandoned streets of London.
Mm-hmm. What a scene, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he was, shoot.
Robert Carlyle?
Yeah, Robert Carlyle. I was like, I can't think of his name. He was approached to be in the first movie.
Yeah,
and
he
turned
was-
it down because he felt like it was just, like, too dark, too, like, not really worried. But he liked the family aspect of this second one, which is why he signed up for the second one.
Did you also know that they shot day for night on this?
Yes, I did know that.
Because of two very logistical reasons. One, the actor that was playing Andy could not film at night.
Right.
Because it's different laws in the UK.
Yeah.
At least back then it was.
Mm-hmm.
And two, if they were to actually film at night, they would have had to digitally gone in and remove far too many lights on buildings.
Yeah, and then a third thing, too, is that they had better cameras this time than they did on the first film.
That was intentional that they used lower budget cameras though.
Right.
On the first film. Just like on 28 years later, the entire film, this new one is shot on iPhone.
Right.
iPhone 15 Max to be precise.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm really excited to see it. We're going to go, what, tonight? Yeah.
Sometime here soon.
Sometime this weekend, probably. So they are now being followed by Dawn and, as Hallie just pointed out, a group of more infected people.
Right. Doyle's colleague Flynn flies his helicopter to Regent's Park to rescue Doyle, and only Doyle. He says,
Yeah.
leave the fucking other people behind. I'm not taking them with me.
Which, like, okay, who is it that plays him?
Harold,
Perrineau?
Perrineau,
Yeah, that's it. Which I love him. I think the first time I ever saw him was on that show Oz.
Yeah, I think, it was awesome.
Way back in the day. I was probably far too young
Well,
to
this
be
is way
watching
back in the
that.
day, too.
Okay, but Oz was farther back than that, and it was...
Late
I was
90s?
far too young to be watching that.
Yeah, you were.
I was far too young to be watching a lot of this shit.
Honestly, yeah.
So-
But that's why we do this. That's why we do this fucking channel. Let's
Yeah.
face it. But he tells them to abandon the others as a crowd of infected people discovers their whereabouts and proceeds to just run at them like Naruto style.
Yeah, but then he just like with the helicopter and the chopping and the oh god.
A desperate Sam, this is the guy that refused to listen to Doyle earlier because Doyle wanted him to run out into the line of fire and zigzag so he didn't get shot.
Yeah.
And Andy fucking did it, but whatever.
Yeah. Like what, 12-year-old or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Sam latches onto the landing apparatus on the helicopter.
I can't believe how long he held on, to be completely honest.
Well, the only reason why he fell off was because he got infected blood spilled on him. But, Flynn uses the helicopter to
just mow down an entire yard full of people.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. It's a great scene. Flynn instructs Doyle to meet at Wembley Stadium, which actually they did not film in Wembley.
No, they filmed in Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, and then digitally changed it.
They changed the color of the
seating
seats
and stuff,
because I think they're red in Wembley and they're green in Millennium.
Right. So they meet at Wembley Station. He tells him to come alone. Again, saying like, get rid of these fucking people, for real. But Doyle keeps the three of them with him, and
because Scarlett has told him about the potentiality of
them having a possible cure.
Yeah, because
they don't know.
Children's
They
lives
didn't
are
really
more
get a
valuable
chance
than
to,
anybody else's lives at this point.
They really didn't get a chance to do enough testing on their
because when she was brought in, what's her name again? Julie? Alice. Thank you. I don't know why that is Julie. No, but when Alice was brought in, Brigadier General Stone said, you can run tests on her corpse.
Yeah. Like, that's not what we need.
No. We need to run tests on her active blood, not her dead blood.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. But anyways, they end up breaking into an abandoned Volvo and escape, I mean, like, barely. Barely. Like, the military, like, nerve gas bombs the area.
Right. So they're nerve bombing or whatever.
Yeah, they're like some kind of gas is in the air. They
to
have their
kill
faces covered. They've like closed themselves inside this car. I don't think that that's how that would actually work.
No, it wouldn't. But not on top
movie
of that.
magic.
But on top of the nerve gas or whatever that they're dispersing, they're also walking the streets with flamethrowers.
Yeah. And the Volvo won't start. So Doyle hops out, and I mean, I'm not even reading the script at this point. Yeah, so I'll just carry on because that's what this says anyways. So Doyle hops out and starts pushing the Volvo while Scarlett is driving, and
it's a stick shift, so
yes.
you can literally push start a stick shift.
Yep.
That's important to state.
Yes, it is. So he starts pushing the car, she gets it started, and he is incinerated by a flamethrower.
Yep, because the rest of the military doesn't have.
They don't get
infected.
Fuck. Kill everything. Yep.
Flambe.
But Scarlett and the kids do escape.
Yes, Scarlett and the children take shelter from aerial gunfire in the London Underground, navigating the darkness with a night vision rifle scope. Dawn ambushes them.
I don't know how he keeps tracking them, honestly. Like, London's big. Sorry, movie magic.
Nice and slow. Slower.
The plausible implausible.
Yes.
Or the plausible impossible. I think that's what Disney called it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Dawn ambushes them, killing Scarlett and biting Andy. Tammy is forced to kill Dawn.
Yeah. Tammy kills her own dad. I think she had a little bit of rage built up from the lies about her mom. And,
I think both of them did, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, he had to go. Andy becomes an asymptomatic carrier, just like his mom, Alice.
But he doesn't know that
he does not.
So he runs away from Tammy.
Because he knows he's been infected.
Am I one of them?
Vowing to stick together, Tammy and Andy reach Flynn, the
helicopter
pilot, at Wembley Stadium, and he reluctantly flies them to France.
Because Doyle told them earlier that he needs to take them across the channel.
Get them
the English channel.
Yeah. But you've got to get them away from this infection that they think is just in Great Britain.
Well, it was.
Yes.
Initially located and isolated directly to the island of Great Britain.
Right.
At least in 28 days later.
Right.
28 days later, a French voice requesting help is heard through the radio of Flynn's abandoned helicopter, while a group of infected people emerge from the Paris metro station near the route of the Eiffel Tower, revealing that the virus has spread to mainland Europe.
And that's the end of our movie, folks. You know that they guerrilla style filmed that last bit?
Yeah.
They did not have permission to be filming at the Eiffel Tower. They just went out there and did it anyways. They were like, fuck it, let's do it.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta guerrilla style it.
You know, there's a lot of that in horror.
There's a lot of that in lower budget horror, but especially like something like this that's meant to be fast paced anyway.
Well, so originally that last ending was not in there. They were not going to have the infected running through Paris, but somebody along the line decided, nah, that's too happy of an ending. Give them the goods.
Well, and then now it's 20 years later, and we're just now getting 28 years later.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Aptly titled, I guess.
Yes.
But no, like the whole guerrilla style filmmaking, as with both of these films, like 28 Days and 28 Weeks, lends itself to that chaoticness and that feel of like, oh my god, you know, like your heart's pounding just watching
and
it.
The way that the infected move compared to what we're used to seeing from zombies is very different. Like, it's very erratic.
As I said before we started recording, they're not zombies.
I know. That's why I just said the way that the infected move compared to what we're used to seeing in zombie films is very different. Like, the way that their bodies
100%,
move,
100%.
they're jerky and they're
especially when they're initially getting infected. They're
Yeah, and that's not what we're used to seeing in infected zombie situations.
Unless it's World War Z.
Right.
Because that was very similar to this.
Yes. We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, that's a movie for another day.
Yes, it is. What are your thoughts, Allie?
This is straight up Bloody Machete Up.
Same. For me too.
Tweeted this guy. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed this one a lot better because they actually had not that
there's
Cillian
more
Murphy,
of a story to this, you know, where it's giving more narrative. Whereas the first movie is just survival.
It's more narrative, but you also have bigger name stars in it, in my opinion. Cillian Murphy was he was starting to become big when 28 Days came out. And Christopher Eccleston was about the only other big name in it besides Brendan Gleeson, who obviously went on to play Mad Eye.
Right, and was very popular in England and Europe, but not as
known
well known
here in the
US.
States.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But then you have Idris Elba, Rose Byrne, and Jeremy Renner, plus Robert Carlyle, who was well known at the time.
Absolutely.
So, this is just better in every way.
Well, and like, again, 28 days later versus 28 weeks later, Danny Boyle was still a relatively new director.
He didn't direct this.
Right. Actually, who is the director? Because Danny Boyle is coming back for 28
Juan Carlos Fresnaldo.
That's right, yeah. I knew it was some weird name that I couldn't say.
Spanish.
Yep. But there's, like, obviously, like, a difference in style.
Oh, yeah.
The first one has a lot more of a found footage type of style, versus the second one being a lot more finished, a lot more cleaned up. But
and I think this third one's going to be a lot more polished too. Even though it's shot on iPhone, I think it's going to be way more polished than these two previous films.
No, I'm really excited to see where the world has gone in this time since we've been gone from the world of 28.
Right, I'm excited to see, like, is it contained to Europe now?
Yeah.
Or did it spread into Africa? Because Africa's kind of attached to Europe.
Really, I could see Russia from my backyard. We're all connected, right? In a sense, like, really.
I mean, it's not as landlocked as, like, the Great Britain Islands.
Right.
But, like, how far did the infection spread?
Right.
And especially in the 28 years, how far has that infection spread? Yeah. I'm curious to see it.
And what kind of cures and different things have they developed in that time, too?
Obviously not.
Right.
Because they're still
Or
infected.
some kind of, like, what's happened in that. I'm just excited. Get this shit out of here so we can stop talking about it. Because what's up next is...
So we always try to do like holiday themed horror on
Yes,
the
we
channel,
do.
or attempt to at least.
Yeah, and there's
Specifically
not
the big
very
ones.
many summertime holidays.
July 4th. That's pretty much
And
it.
we always hit the jaws with that one, so...
Yeah. But next Tuesday is a paganistic holiday.
Do you know? If you don't...
Comment below what you think it is.
Well, we're going to tell you anyways, because we want you to watch it before you come back and watch our review. Y'all.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's midsummer, y'all.
I am so excited for Ari Aster to be back on our channel with his twisted ass mind. Super twisted ass mind.
I think it's funny that we're going from a film that had 2 MCU actors in it to another film that has an MCU actor in it.
Yeah, that's true. And she's actually just recently into the MCU, within the last
6 years.
Yeah. I'm very excited to jump into this movie. It's one of my favorites. Not to ruin the surprise, y'all, but I talk about it all the time. Anybody that knows me.
So come back here next Tuesday.
Watch this first.
Right. Oh, obviously. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
And then come back on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Not Friday. Tuesday.
Till then, make sure you slash the subscribe button
Stab the like button.
and ring that gray bell so you can stay up to date on everything that we are doing on this platform.
And until next time, we will see you all
In the afterlife.